On November 26, 1930, a news was published on the front page of Canada's The Medin Daily Journal newspaper with the title Village of the Dead. This news created a wave of fear throughout Canada because in North Canada, an entire tribe had disappeared overnight without any trace. In a remote area of North Canada is this Anjikuni Lake, on the shore of which a small settlement lived, inhabited by a tribe called Eskimo. About 100 to 150 people lived here who survived by catching fish from this lake. This is the area of North Canada where, over thousands or even millions of square kilometers, only a few thousand people live, the reason being the extremely harsh weather. Apart from fish in Anjikuni Lake, hunting of other animals also happens in the surrounding areas, and for this, many hunters keep coming here. It was a very cold day in November 1930 when a hunter named Joe LaBelle came to this area for hunting. He got so busy in hunting that he did not even realize when it got dark. He had an idea in mind that, like before, he would spend the night at the Eskimo tribe on the shore of Lake Anjikuni. The people of this tribe were quite famous for welcoming outsiders warmly. So Joe LaBelle packed his stuff and started heading towards the Eskimo. It was a moonlit night, but there was complete silence all around. Neither was any person visible, nor was there any sound. He could only hear the sound of his own footsteps. Although Joe had done this before too, but today some unusual sounds used to come which were made by the dogs the villagers kept. But that day, even when approaching the village, there was only emptiness and silence. Feeling all this, Joe increased the pace of his steps. He felt that maybe the villagers were sleeping or had gone somewhere. From a distance itself, he could see smoke rising from the huts, which meant that someone was present inside them. But even after getting closer, he did not hear any sound. Finally, when Joe LaBelle entered the village, he was astonished to see that there was neither any human nor any animal. What surprised Joe even more was that from some houses, smoke was still rising as if someone was inside them. He randomly went into a tent, but there too, no one was present. And the same was the condition of all the tents. In some houses, the utensils for cooking were still on the stove, but the food in them had burnt, meaning someone had definitely kept food to cook for the night, but they couldn't eat it. Even the clothes the village women used to stitch were there, and the needle still had thread in it. It seemed as if the villagers had suddenly left this place, but where did they go? Joe LaBelle started to search the entire village. He saw that the dogs that the tribe had kept were still tied with ropes around their necks, but they had died of hunger. Even though there was food in front of the dogs, there was no human to feed them. At one place, he saw a grave dug up. Seeing this grave, it seemed it hadn't been dug long ago. Seeing all this, Joe LaBelle's worry and fear increased a lot. Seeing this entire scene alone at night, he was quite frightened. The people here, whenever they go anywhere, always take their dogs along. But seeing all this, it seemed that something strange had happened here. Some mishap had happened which forced people to suddenly leave. So much so that they even left their dogs behind. Their clothes, food, and couldn't even put out the burning fire. Joe couldn't bear seeing all this any longer, and as soon as possible reached the nearest telegraph office. From there he contacted the camps of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and narrated what he saw with his own eyes. When the police reached the village, whatever Joe LaBelle had said turned out to be true. The police suspected that maybe someone had attacked here and killed all the villagers, but if that was the case, then some blood marks should have been found somewhere in the village. If not blood, then at least due to fighting, some items would have been scattered. The police immediately started a search operation to find the villagers. In this search operation, a very unique thing was found which perhaps Joe had also not noticed. The entire village was covered with snow, but on that snow, there were no footprints of anyone. There were only the footprints of one person, and those were Joe LaBelle's own. Meaning if apart from Joe no one came here and no one left, then where did the villagers go? The lake was also frozen, and the villagers' boats were standing on the ground because in this weather, fishing does not happen. That's why the boats were dragged and parked on land. If the villagers had swum through the lake, or if someone had killed them and thrown them in the lake, then somewhere the ice layer on the lake would have surely broken or been scattered. The police found out in the investigation that these people had disappeared 3 days before Joe arrived. because dogs don't die after staying hungry for just a day or two, and the smoke coming out of the houses was proof that it hadn't been long since they left, because it was that smoke which comes out for a long time, even after the wood burns out. The police had a lot of questions, but not a single answer. After months of search operations, the police finally stamped this case as unsolved and closed it forever. And with time, people also forgot it. 50 years after this incident, in 1984, writers named Roger Bohr and Nigel Blunder wrote an article and tried to link this entire matter with aliens. In their article, they mentioned that when they went to explore this area near Lake Anjikuni, they met a hunter and his two sons. They told that they often saw some objects flying over the lake whose shape varied, and they were flying towards the same settlement where the Eskimo tribe lived. Using this story as a base, it was said that maybe that night, aliens landed and took all the people present in the village with them. Roger Bohr and Nigel Blunder did not have any solid evidence of the presence of aliens and their attack, so most people did not believe this and rejected this theory. After this, many people started making separate stories about the disappearance of the Eskimo tribe, but the reality is that it's been 100 years since this incident, and even today no one has the answer to where the people of the Anjikuni Lake village went, without leaving any trace. The case of the disappearance of the Eskimo tribe remains a mystery to this day.